Hey there, thinkers! Welcome back to Critical Hit. My name is S, and Disney has finally decided to roll out their much anticipated Snow White live-action adaptation. And let's just say the reception has been anything but a fairy tale. So social media is having a complete field day, dragging the trailer through the mud. It's getting ratioed so hard that even Prince Charming wouldn't even dare to rescue it. The criticism is relentless, with fans and skeptics alike tearing it apart, from everything from the casting choices to the overall look. It's clear that Disney's latest attempt at revamping a classic is headed straight for the enchanted dumpster fire, and the bad reviews are only just the beginning, so safe to say that this one might not have a happily ever after. However, I have a few things to show off here, but before I do, we have a small request for you. If you are new here, consider hitting that subscribe button, smashing that like, and ring the bell to be notified for our next video. We would greatly appreciate this, since this will appease the YouTube algorithm gods, so we thank you. Now let me give you my thoughts on this reimagined Snow White for modern audiences. So let's get into this. Here we go again with this movie. Disney's probably in full panic mode right now, because the word on the street is that they've sunk over $300 million into this mess. Yes, you heard me right. They went all out budget-wise, and it's like they're trying to set a new record for burning cash. Now, here's the kicker. They're going to need to pull in around $700 million just to avoid a financial meltdown. And that's not even considering their dreams of turning this into a billion-dollar blockbuster. But let's be honest here. They're probably praying to every cinematic deity out there for this to hit $1 billion. But judging by the tidal wave of backlash that this movie has been facing, I'd say that it's probably as likely as pigs flying. Disney might want to brace themselves, because it looks like it's going to be one of those what were we thinking moments in cinematic history. So we are now on the third round of dwarf redesign, and guess what? They are still a complete mess. It's like they're in a competition to see who can make them look worse each time. And as for Snow White's dress, it's a parade of fashion disasters, each one worse than the last. It's like they decided to see just how awful they can make her look. And the casting? Let's just talk about that train wreck for a second. So Rachel Zegler took it upon herself to enlighten everyone by saying, oh, the prince was a creep, so we're just moving away from the romance. Snow White's going to be more independent this time, because nothing says timeless classic like stripping away the core of the original story and alienating the fans. Because newsflash, no one asked for this modern day romance-free Snow White. And then there's Gal Gadot as the evil queen. Yeah, that evil queen. The one who's so consumed with jealousy over Snow White's beauty that she spirals into full-blown villainy. So, naturally, they cast Gal Gadot, who looks like she just walked off a runway, to be the one who's supposedly envious of someone else's looks. I mean, who thought this was a good idea? It's like they went, hey, let's just take the least relatable part of the whole story and make it even more ridiculous. Honestly, it's almost as if the filmmakers just sat around and said, let's completely miss the point of the original and see how far we can stretch this before people notice. And here we are with Gal Gadot, one of the most stunning women on our planet, pretending to be bitter about not being the fairest of them all. Sure, because that totally makes sense. The entire production just screams we have absolutely no idea why people love the original, but here's our shiny new and totally improved version anyways. It's like they thought, let's just slap some big names on this, crank up the CGI, and people will totally overlook the fact that we've turned a classic into a complete farce. And now, of course, look at this, we got a new trailer. And surprise, surprise, it's getting absolutely shredded by viewers. As someone who practically grew up on Disney princess movies, I have a soft spot for the classics. And this new offering feels like a total disaster. And I understand that CGI is the new norm in filmmaking, but come on! Did everything in this movie have to look so overwhelmingly artificial? Nothing looks remotely real. It's like every scene is drenched in digital effects to the point where it just feels so hollow. Honestly, it's not exactly igniting any excitement over here. If anything, it's more likely to dampen any enthusiasm I had. I don't know. I want movies to feel like they're almost real. You know? Like, sure, there's a lot that's blatantly unrealistic, but like, come on. The sets should at least look like they've been used. I want houses to look like they've been lived in. I want castles to feel like they actually have people in them. Everything looks so sterile because it's all CGI. Even the trees are annoyingly perfect. It's like they've stripped away all the charm. And I get it. Live action adaptations have their hiccups. But this one? It's just not hitting the mark for me, you know? Snow White's voice used to be all high-pitched and annoyingly feminine, but now it just sounds like Rachel Zegler singing. And don't get me wrong, Zegler's not exactly tone deaf or anything, but she doesn't scream Snow White. Clearly, I'm not alone in this assessment. Just check out the trailer with its 5,845,000 views, and it's only been out for 2 days, with 59,000 likes versus 362,000 dislikes, and well, 20,000 comments. And they're mostly complaining about how it looks like a complete total flop. It's safe to say that people aren't exactly thrilled. And I mean, wow, fantastic. Another overhyped, overpriced live-action adaptation of my beloved childhood classics. Like, I've shelled out my hard-earned money to watch these because I grew up with the animated versions and I have a soft spot for them. As Disney continues to pump these out, they've drifted further and further away from what made these originals magical. It's almost comical that Disney, with its endless supply of cash, $300 million per project, no less, can't seem to deliver anything truly remarkable. Instead of focusing on genuinely entertaining films, they've fixated on updating and modernizing, often at the expense of the original charm. Take Little Mermaid, for instance. They made Ursula less menacing and altered her iconic song to avoid any uncomfortable body image messages. It's just clear that they are more concerned with avoiding controversy and appealing to contemporary sensibilities than with crafting something that actually captures the essence of the originals. It's just downright pathetic that a company with Disney's resources and history can't get it right. They've turned these beloved stories into sanitized, message-driven productions that often miss the mark on entertainment. It's like they're more interested in ticking off boxes for modern audiences than making something that stands the test of time. Oh, this is just beyond ridiculous now. You can't even have villains who are evil anymore without a whole chorus of complaints. It's like the audiences have turned themselves into a collective group of self-appointed moral police. And Disney, they're just rolling with it. I have to give them credit for their sheer audacity in keeping the comment section open. I mean, really? With having 20,000 comments already flooding in? You'd think they'd be scrambling to shut it down, but no, they are standing firm, like they're daring everyone to come at them. It's almost as if they've resigned themselves to the fact that no matter where they drop the teasers or trailers, they're gonna get hammered with backlash. And it's not like there's any shortage of reasons for the outrage. With controversial figures like Rachel Zegler and their brilliant idea to redesign the dwarves not once but 3 times, they've practically handed out free tickets to the criticism circus. Now they're just letting the storm rage on, like they're too exhausted to care or too stubborn to back down. Disney is truly stunning and brave for letting the comments stay open. With 59,000 likes versus 362,000 dislikes, it's clear this film wasn't just a flop, it was a non-starter. Who else clicked on the trailer just to dive straight to the comment section? Like, apparently no dwarves were cast for this movie. It's infuriating because Peter Dinklage, a talented actor, ended up costing 7 people their jobs, leaving us with CGI dwarves instead. They could have hired actual people who match the original character descriptions. But no. One actor cried, "offensive," and everyone else had to suffer the consequences. Well, Disney has really outdone themselves this time. The whole movie is a total disaster. It's like they took all the ingredients for a decent film and threw them into a blender and hit puree without even checking the settings. And everyone is having a field day tearing them apart for their catastrophically misguided decisions. And it turns out that the movie's been marinating in development hell for ages. The rumors that emerged a few weeks ago were a delight. The film was reportedly a hot mess and testing poorly, so in a desperate bid to salvage their sinking ship, they went back for a bunch of reshoots. But guess what? They were already deep in the money pit. They couldn't even afford to make any further changes or fix the script. So now the real fun begins, because watching Disney's desperate attempt to market this disaster because they're stuck with Rachel Zegler as the lead in all the promotional material. However, they might pivot and highlight Gal Gadot, who's a lot more palatable to both Hollywood and audiences. After all, Gadot isn't exactly loathed the way that Zegler is. It's going to be a circus of epic proportions as they try to salvage the reputation while selling a film that's already been thoroughly discredited. So hold on to your panties, because this PR train wreck is just getting started. They're already cranking out teasers and trailers for a release that's not even on the horizon. It's March 2025, for crying out loud. It's like they think dropping promotional material now is going to magically make everyone forget that we're light years away from actually getting our hands on it. But I'm not holding my breath for this one. It's shaping up to be a total letdown. However, that's all the gossip I have for you today. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And hey, before you go, subscribe to our channel, smash that like button, and ring the bell to be notified for our next video. As always, this is Est, and I'm signing off now. So I will see you in the next one. Toodles!